This article is about the band. For other meanings see Panic. Widespread Panic is an American rock band from Athens, Georgia. The current lineup includes guitarist-singer John Bell, bassist Dave Schools, drummer Duane Trucks, percussionist Domingo Sonny Ortiz, keyboardist John JoJo Hermann, and guitarist Jimmy Herring. Michael Houser and George McConnell have also played lead guitar for the band. Since their inception in Athens, Georgia, in 1986, Widespread Panic has risen to elite status among American jam bands. Following in the steps of other Southern rock jam bands such as the Allman Brothers Band, they draw influences from the Southern rock, blues rock, progressive rock, funk and hard rock genres. They are frequently compared to other jam band road warriors such as the Grateful Dead and Phish. Widely renowned for their live performances, as of 2013, they hold the record for number of sold-out performances at Red Rocks Amphitheatre at 42 and Philips Arena at 20. Band history. 1981 Euro 1995, early years and rise to national attention. John Bell and Michael Houser met in 1981 in their dorm at the University of Georgia. Bell had been playing guitar as a solo act, and invited his new friend Houser, also a guitarist, to join him. They began living together and collaborating on music in that year, writing still popular songs such as Driving Song and Chilly Water together. Bassist Dave Schools met Bell and Houser in 1984 and first played with them on February 24, 1985, at the A-Frame House on Wiemander Court in Athens. On February 6, 1986, Houser called childhood friend and drummer Todd Nance to sit in with Houser, Bell, and Schools for a charity event in Athens. It was their first show as Widespread Panic. The band was named for Houser's once frequent panic attacks. Texan percussionist Domingo Ortiz joined the band later that year. The band played in fraternities and bars on a regular basis before Panic signed a contract with Landslide Records in 1987. In February 1987 the band played the now legendary series of $1 Monday night shows at the Uptown Lounge in Athens, and the crucial local press began to take notice. A Euro flagpole and Athens Observer art columnist Shan Clark emphasized Widespread Panic's musical virtuosity, songwriting and professionalism. In September of the same year, they recorded their first album, Space Wrangler, at John Keane's studio in Athens. Colonel Bruce Hampton is rumored to have delivered the first pressing to the band. Songs on the album included Chilly Water, Travelin' Light, Space Wrangler, Coconut, The Takeout, Porch Song, Stop Go, and Driving Song. After Space Wrangler, touring expanded to include additional northeastern dates, along with Texas, Colorado, the West Coast, and internationally to Vancouver, Canada. They played their first show in Colorado in March 1990, opening for Jerry Joseph's band Little Women. Widespread Panic signed with Capricorn Records in January 1991. Later that year, they released their major label debut, Widespread Panic. That same year Billy Bob Thornton directed the movie Widespread Panic, Live from the Georgia Theatre, which was recorded over 2 nights in Athens, Georgia. As the band began to tour more, John Hermann joined the band as a keyboardist in March 1992, replacing Dixie Dregs keyboardist T. Lavitz, who joined the band a year earlier. The band continued to tour throughout the entire U.S. in 1992, joining the famous Whore Tour with Blues Traveler, Phish, and the Aquarium Rescue Unit, among others. They released Every Day in March 1993 and Ain't Life Grand in September 1994. Panic marked their rise by playing on network television for the first time in November 1994. 1996 Euro 2002, peak touring years and Houser's death. On April 18, 1998, to celebrate the release of their first live album, Light Fuse, Getaway, Widespread Panic offered a free CD release party concert in Athens, Georgia. An estimated 80,000 Euro 100,000 fans descended on the town, transforming it into one of the largest CD release parties in history. In 2002, the band received gold certification for their concert DVD Live at Oak Mountain. They also headlined 2 nights of the first annual Bonnaroo Music Festival, which drew a crowd upwards of 70,000 people. In early 2002, guitarist Michael Houser was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Houser continued to perform with the band into the middle of that year, but following a performance on July 2, 2002 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, he left the tour because of his declining health. Guitarist George McConnell, a former bandmate of JoJo Hermann's in Beanland, took over as lead guitarist for the remainder of the band's scheduled dates. Michael Houser died on August 10, 2002. 2003 2006, George McConnell joins In 2003, the band released Ball, the first studio album with McConnell as the guitarist. The album was unique among the band's offerings in that none of the songs included had been performed live by the band prior to the recording. All of the material included was written specifically for the album with the exception of Time Waits, a song which John Bell had performed in solo appearances, and Don't Wanna Lose You, a song John Hermann had performed with his side project Smiling Assassins. Late in 2003, the band announced that they would be taking a hiatus from both recording and performing in 2004. However, 2004 did see the release of 3 live albums, engineered by Billy Field, Night of Joy and Abracabra, both of which were recorded during a November 2003 3-night run of shows at the House of Blues in Myrtle Beach, Ska as well as Jack Arcelton, a compilation of cover songs performed during the band's Halloween shows over the years. A third release from the Myrtle Beach shows, Live at Myrtle Beach, was released in early 2005. In January 2006, the band recorded their 9th studio album, Earth to America, in Nassau, Bahamas at Compass Point Studios, with Terry Manning producing. It was released June 13, 2006. Their May 9th show at Atlanta's Fox Theatre was simulcast in Live HD, via satellite, in select movie theaters nationwide. Over 60,000 fans across the country watched it live in the theaters. This show was also released in DVD format on November 14, 2006, entitled Earth to Atlanta. On August 2, 2006, nearing the end of the summer tour, the band announced that George McConnell had left the band, making July 30, 2006 at the Fox Theatre in St. Louis, Missouri his last show. Producer John Keane and former guitar technician Sam Holt filled in on guitar for the remaining 2 weeks of the tour. 2006 present, Jimmy Herring joins In late 2006, Fayetteville, North Carolina native Jimmy Herring took over the reins of the lead guitarist in the band, kicking off their fall tour with 3 nights at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. Panic's 7th annual New Year's shows on December 30 and 31, 2007, marked their 15th and 16th sellout performance at Phillips Arena. The band released their 10th album, Free Somehow, on February 12, 2008. It, too, was recorded with producer Terry Manning at Compass Point Studios. Following the release of the new studio album, Widespread Panic began to release vintage concert performances from the Widespread Panic archives. Carbondale 2000 was released on June 10, 2008, followed by Valdosta 1989 released on February 24, 2009, and Huntsville 1996 released on June 23, 2009. The band will continue to dig into their show archives, which encompasses the past 25 years, and release these shows as multi-track recordings. June 27, 2008, marked the band's 32nd sold-out show at Red Rocks Amphitheatre. This was more than any other band in the venue's history. Mayor John Hickenlooper proclaimed Friday, June 27 Widespread Panic Day in the city and county of Denver. The same year, Widespread Panic was inducted into the Georgia Music Hall of Fame on September 20. The band continued to tour throughout the rest of 2008 and the spring of 2009. In the summer of 2009, Widespread Panic teamed up with fellow Southern rockers, the Allman Brothers, to do a summer and fall co-headlining tour. In March 2010, it was announced that Widespread Panic would be releasing a new album entitled Dirty Side Down on May 25, 2010. 2010 would also see the release of Live in the Classic City 2, containing music from its 2000 shows. On September 29, 2010, widespread keyboardist JoJo Hermann announced that the band would be going on hiatus in 2012. In an interview with the Vanderbilt Hustler, Hermann explained, "Next year will be our 25th anniversary. After that, we're probably going to call it for a while. So we're looking forward to next year and going out on a high note." The band went on to tour steadily throughout 2011, ending the year with their first show at Time Warner Cable Arena in Charlotte, NC. In early 2012, the band played a limited number of shows. From January to February the band embarked on their first ever tour billed as completely acoustic. Dubbed the Wood Tour, it started in January at the Fillmore in Silver Spring, Maryland and ended at the Belly Up in Aspen, Company. 2 recordings from the Wood Tour were released in 2012, a special record store day-only vinyl record entitled Live Wood in April and later Wood, on October 16. The rest of 2012 saw the band on hiatus but band members were active with other projects. Dave Schools toured with the Mickey Hart Band, Jimmy Herring recorded a new album and toured with his own band, and JoJo Hermann played shows with the Missing Cats, occasionally opening and sitting in with the North Mississippi All-Stars. On August 17, the band announced their first scheduled shows after hiatus, including 2 nights in Charlotte, North Carolina and a 4-night run in the Dominican Republic. Between the 2 short legs that comprised the 2012 Wood Tour, the band played a 4-night run in Mexico, marking their first shows in the country, and beginning what would become an annual tradition called Panic en la Playa. PELP Uno was a 4-night stand held on the beach at the now Sapphire Resort in Mexico at the end of January 2011. In January 2012, PELP Dos was held at the Hard Rock Hotel Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. 2013 saw the band return to the Drive for PELP Tours, the show dates pushed back to the end of March. PELP Quattro was booked for the same venue in 2014, with the dates returning to the end of January. 2014 saw a return of Wood Tour, with the band playing 6 all-acoustic theater shows, as well as a special Wood performance held 333 feet underground in the Volcano Room at Cumberland Caverns in McMinnville, TN for a taping of an episode of PBS Bluegrass Underground. The band has continued to tour, playing a number of dates on a spring tour, as well as a summer tour with a return to Red Rocks, and a fall tour scheduled for October. The year will close out with their annual Tunes for Tots benefit performance, held this year at the Fillmore in Charlotte, North Carolina on December 30, followed by their annual New Year's Eve show, held this year at the TWC Arena in Charlotte, North Carolina. 2013, post-hiatus return. The band returned to regular touring in the spring of 2013 with a run of Midwest and Southern shows beginning in April. During these shows, the band introduced new innovations in the audio broadcast of their live performance. Previously, Panic had allowed tapers to use audience recording devices to simulcast live shows to fans via the Internet. The first live taper stream was at the Dodge Theater in Phoenix, Arizona on 112,009 by Latticed and was continued by all the WP tapers through the spring 2013 tour when the band took over streaming duties and started broadcasting live soundboard recordings of the show via mixlr.com and the MIXLR smartphone app. On December 31, 2013 the band returned to Phillips Arena in Atlanta. Fall 2014, Todd announced hiatus. On October 2, 2014, the band announced that Duane Trucks would join the band for 2014 fall tour. Trucks is temporarily filling in for Todd Nance, who is taking time to attend to personal matters. Trucks is the current drummer for Hard-Working Americans. Live shows. Setlists. Known for never playing the same show twice, the band has a show-to-show ritual of choosing the night's setlist. At the beginning of each tour, a member of the band's road crew makes a master list of all the songs the band performs and laminates it. Each night before the show he marks the last 3 night setlists in different colors. The band can see what has been played recently and then decide what songs to play during the first set. They return to the list during set break to pick songs for the second set, and likewise, return after the second set for any additional sets if playing more than 2, or the encore. This process is explained by the late Gary Vereen in the DVD The Earth Will Swallow You. Tapers. Widespread Panic has the policy of allowing any of their fans to tape, trade, and to a limited extent freely distribute their shows. However, anonymous distribution such as P2P and commercial distribution is not permitted. Fans have been taping and trading shows since before they gained national prominence, allowing them to gain their strong national following. Incidents. A fan died while in police custody at a concert in South Haven, Mississippi. Toxicology report proved that an overdose was in fact not the cause of death. On November 18, 2015, autopsy findings stated that hogtying contributed to the death of the fan. Members. Current members. John Bell, guitar, vocals, Dave Schools, bass, vocals, Todd Nance, drums, Domingo S. Ortiz, percussion, John Hermann, keyboards, Jimmy Herring, guitar. Former members. Michael Houser, guitar, T. Lavitz, keyboards, George McConnell, guitar. Touring musicians. Duane Trucks, drums. Discography. Videography. Side projects. The band recorded 2 albums with guitarist Vickers Nutt as Brute, in 1996 and 2002. Todd Nance has recorded and toured as part of the band Barbara Q, releasing 3 albums. Dave Schools has recorded and toured as part of the band Stockholm Syndrome, as well as Mickey Hart Band in 2012. Schools and Leon Martin III have released 2 albums as Slang, The Bellwether Project in 2001 and More Talk About Tonight in 2004. John Herman has toured with JoJo's Mardi Gras band when Widespread Panic took a year break. He has toured with the Smiling Assassins, and is currently playing in a duo called the Missing Cats. In 2013, Schools formed Hard-Working Americans with Todd Snyder, Neil Castle, Chad Steele and Duane Trucks. The supergroup's self-titled debut album was recorded at Bob Weir's TRI Studios and mixed by John Keane. It was released on January 21, 2014. Charity and benefit work. References. External links: Widespread Panic, the official site, Everyday Companion Online, Rocky Mountain News article.